dictator of Turmania, the conqueror of Austerlitz, the future emperor of the world. You must speak.
I can't.
You must. It's our only hope.
Hope.
I'm sorry, but I don't want to be an emperor. That's not my business. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world, there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls, has barricaded the world with hate, has goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent, and all will be lost. The aeroplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world, millions of despairing men, women, and little children, victims of a system that makes men torture and imprison innocent people. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines, you are not cattle, you are men. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate, only the unloved hate, the unloved and the unnatural. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery, fight for liberty. In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you. You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world, a decent world, that will give men a chance to work, that will give youth a future and old age a security. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power, but they lie. They do not fulfill that promise. They never will. Dictators free themselves, but they enslave the people. Now let us fight to fulfill that promise. Let us fight to free the world, to do away with national barriers, to do away with greed, with hate and intolerance. Let us fight for a world of reason, a world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite!
I've been asked to create a series of half-hour video shows suitable for explaining the whole free man movement, from the beginning right to becoming a free man on the land. So what we're developing is a curriculum of 28 little 20-minute, 30-minute videos. What you're asked to do is to watch one per day. Think about that one issue, concentrate on that, and then the next day do the other. 30 days down the road, you should have a very good picture of what it is to be a free man on the land and how to do it. Although essentially designed for complete beginners, it's hopeful that anyone can find some benefit in this program. Now, in order to figure out where you want to get to, first you have to figure out where you are. In this little introduction, we're going to have a little chat about why things are the way they are, why they were the way they were, and how to get them to where we want them to be. Let's take a little look back in history.
20,000 years ago, alien lizards came from a planet called Nexarumbi and conducted genetic experiments on the existing Neanderthals, aiming to develop a slave race of super warrior monkeys in order to fight their enemies, the dreaded Neverundies.
Okay, so that's not true. 20,000 years ago, there were people just like there are today. There were the wise, the wicked, the lazy, the clever, the greedy, the easily fooled, and the gentle-hearted. Just like today. And just like today, someone realized they could get others to do their work for them merely by paying a little better attention. See, farmers had to plant with the seasons, and some clever men realized that they could avoid the backbreak labor by telling others when to plant. They came to this knowledge by watching the stars and seeing the patterns. But of course, they did not want to lose the power monopolizing this knowledge gave them, so they mystified it and called themselves priests. They were the first deceivers. Things generally rolled along rather nicely from that point, with those who questioned the status quo being labeled heretics by the priests and promptly losing their heads in order to make the gods happy. This was the case until a short, mouthy, clever Jew stuck his head up and started beaking off. No, not that guy. Yeah, that guy. See, back in Jesus' day, very few people could read. The Pharisees, the scribes, the Sadducees, they could. People would go to them for advice concerning the law. And these Sadducees and Pharisees and scribes, they held very tightly to the reins of understanding. They did not want others to know what the law actually said. Essentially, people would come to them with food and ask them, "Can I eat this?" And they'd say, "No, you can't. We'll take it off your hands." But then they could eat it. They also made a lot of money and gained a lot of power by being the ones who understood all of this. And thus, the standard peasant was pretty much in awe of these people who knew how to read, knew how to write, and knew what the words meant. Now this carried on for 1,000 years or so, but then along came Gutenberg and his press, and suddenly people were being taught to read. Suddenly the tradesmen figured out that they had been being lied to the whole time by those very same scribes and Pharisees and priests. So they got a little bit angry, and now that everyone, fast forward to the year 2010, everyone knows how to read. Well, not everyone, of course, but many people know how to read. So what do the scribes and Pharisees and Sadducees do? They shift a little bit and they become lawyers and judges and clerks in their courts. And they claim that only they can understand the words which they also claim govern everyone. The Income Tax Act in Canada is about 2,600 pages long. It's a very, very large